It's time for the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Each week, Trading Stocks Made Easy demystifies stock trading and investing so you can profit big. And now, here's the host of Trading Stocks Made Easy, the wealthy investor, Tyrone Jackson.
Well, hello there, Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, and welcome to episode 259 of the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Today, I'm in a great mood, and I thought we'd do a great show called Change Your Life. I just decided, well, enough talk about deltas and options and covered calls and collecting dividends. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty of how you can change your life. And what I thought I would do in this episode, because I've been trading for over 25 years, so you can imagine I've seen all sorts of markets by now. Markets go up, go down, stay sideways, invested in technology that doesn't even exist anymore. And today it's all about AI and how that's going to change the future. But some stocks will always remain, well, golden oldies, kind of like McDonald's, right? McDonald's is not going to change that much because of AI. It's all about how many burgers and fries you actually sell around the world. And AI is not going to change that. But, you know, when you become both a stock market trader and an investor, like we do in my program, you're reaping the benefits of all possible outcomes, right? We know we use covered call writing as our core strategy because that generates guaranteed income whether your favorite stock goes up, goes down, or stays the same. That dividend income that we pull in every 13 weeks, well, that's the company paying us as shareholders. And we know the fastest road to wealth is through residual income, some kind of way of generating passive income that is consistent and is coming through all the time. So that when you retire, you have residual income in the form of covered calls and dividends and maybe some fast money trades if you want to get a little closer to the action. Well, what I like about all of this is not only is this a great way to make six figures or more, as long as you're willing to keep putting money into your account and follow a discipline. Obviously, for me as the teacher, I've done well enough to be able to help other people. You see, it doesn't matter if I'm a good stock market trader and I call myself a teacher if my students don't do well. But it's when my students do well that becomes the cherry on top of the cake. So when you reach out to me and say, Tyrone, thank you, this is how much money I generated, it makes me happier than you could possibly imagine, probably because I came into this world as a giver. I like giving, I like helping, and I've learned how to not be taken advantage of in the process, but I have that giving, natural, help other people way about me. So one of my first stories, I've told it on this show before, but this story's now about 17 years old and I haven't told it in a while. When I started out teaching in New York, I had 30, 40, 50 people in my class, and we would get together and we do these things in the live classes called drills. And they're practice trades so that when you go home, you can basically put on the same trade we've practiced and worked out in the class. And there was I have a lot of artists in my program, and there was a producer, a woman who produced the Chinese news in New York City, and her parents had about $70,000 in both their IRAs combined. And what they used to do, since her parents were now in their late 60s, early 70s, is during the winter, they would buy extra blankets because heating oil was so expensive. So that's how they would make it through the winter, is she would buy blankets for her parents, and then they would somehow not burn as much oil, and they could live off of whatever on an annual basis their retirement dollars were throwing off. So she comes in, learns how to become a covered call writer, and starts earning somewhere between $2,000 and $5,000 a month in income from her stock market trades, and says, Mom and Dad, can I do the same in your account for about 3 months? I think we'll be able to pay the heating bill. Of course, it works out. They're trading primarily within the Dow, so nothing risky. And guess what happens? Winter after winter after winter, that $2,000 to $5,000 a month now is enough to pay the oil bill. And she purchased what we used to call a big screen TV for her dad, who loved watching the Mets. And so she comes back to class after having about 6 months of this kind of success, and she says to me, "You have changed my life, but you've also changed my parents' lives, because my dad has a big screen TV and we don't have to have big blankets in the winter because we could easily afford the oil bill." Now, it's interesting when we start talking about wealth and residual income in this program. Sometimes we think we need millions and millions and millions of dollars to have financial freedom. Well, I'm going to ask you a question as it relates to you specifically. Would an extra $5,000 to $7,000 right now help you in your life? Regardless of what you're making at your job, if you had an additional $5,000 to $7,000 right now, every single month, that you could either reinvest into stocks or use to fortify your lifestyle, would that help you? And for most people, the answer is yes. So if I were to scale it up and say, how about an extra $10,000? Well, if $5,000 to $7,000 would be helpful, then we know $10,000, $15,000, or any number higher would also be significant and help you in your life right now. That's the power of learning how to trade and invest in the stock market. Now, my other favorite story that I really like when it comes to changing your life is that one person who is a parent, and a single parent at that, who had to figure out how to put their 3 children, co-parenting, through college. It was quite clear they couldn't afford an Ivy League school, this person and their ex-spouse, but they needed some way of being able to pay the bill. So they settled on a state school. Okay? Now, they were trading with about $150,000 that they liquidated from a mutual fund. And a lot of people do this when they come to the Wealthy Investor Program. They get a home equity line of credit, right? So if you can get a $200,000 home equity line of credit, obviously you don't use all of the $200,000, but if you were to put $100,000 in the stock market, that should be able to get you an extra $2,000 to $5,000. Now, this concept is normally disturbing to people because it feels like you're somehow living off the future earnings of that home. But if that home has equity that is being untapped, you're not using what wealthy people call leverage, which is other people's money to make your life better today. So think about that home that you own right now that has all that equity in it that you might not leave to someone else. What good is that equity going to do to you in the future? It's not going to do a whole lot of good at all, right? So you might as well tap some of it right now and make stock market trading and your investing a new kind of side business for you. You know how I'm always saying your wealth is in your thinking? Well, what are you doing with all this equity that you have sitting on the side? Are you actually using it for your advantage, or are you saving it all for someday? Well, back to the single parent who had to figure out how to pay that college tuition. You see, when the kids went to a state school, the tuition was about $3,000 a month if you averaged it out. So after 10 months of taking profits in the stock market, they had the $30,000 they needed. Turns out they were doing well enough in life so that they could afford one tuition, but used their investments to pay for the other tuition, and they were receiving dividend checks at the same time because, again, they were trading within the Dow and the S&P. So for most people, achieving some level of financial freedom or independence isn't that hard. And for that person, they were able to get through 4 years, and their kids basically went to school on a stock market scholarship. So some of us have assets that we can tap into to turn into investable cash, but you have to have a financial education in order to do it. Sitting at home in fear, wondering how the bills are going to be paid, and you're sitting on all of that equity, it just makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Now, this is one of those higher end problems that people love having. What if you can generate $5,000 a month in the stock market to help pay off your existing mortgage? Now, most of us know that there is a formula when it comes to paying off your mortgage. If you can make 2 extra payments every single year, that cuts your 30-year mortgage to a 15-year mortgage. And what you should know, if you've never thought about it like this, you want your mortgage to be to the point where you're not paying 90% interest like at the beginning of your loan, but you want to get to 50% of your mortgage payment actually counting towards your equity. So doesn't it make sense to use the money in the stock market, if you wanted to pay down your home and accelerate your principal payments? Well, a lot of people use trading that way. So you see, wealth is a choice, and that choice is usually based on what you've been taught. So again, not having that equity in your home just sit there but work for you, that produces financial freedom. Back in a moment with another one of my favorite stories of how to change your life.
Want to increase your stock market trading profits? Then you need to start your monthly membership to WITradeschool.com right now. Don't understand how to write covered calls for monthly income? No problem. Simply review Tyrone's latest stock trades in our video library as many times as you need. WITradeschool.com is all about helping you get the financial education you need to earn money in the stock market and change your financial life. Tyrone Jackson, the wealthy investor, has helped his students earn thousands of dollars per month trading stocks online from home. These are people just like you. So what are you waiting for? Follow Tyrone Jackson's red-hot stock trades and investment strategies today. Don't wait. Start your monthly membership at WITradeschool.com right now.
It is about changing your life. Wealth is not just a fantasy, something hanging out there. It is real. It is waiting for you to take positive actions to tap into it. You know that some of the wealthiest people in our country are using real estate assets and drawing from that to make money in the stock market, or vice versa. Now, I don't have to tell you how the ultra rich live, but financial freedom is financial freedom. And I ask you the same questions I did before the commercial break. Could you use an extra $5,000 a month for the rest of your life trading Amazon.com, let's say, for example? The answer is yes. All right. Now, if we can use covered call writing on Dow stocks and dividend collection in our cash accounts on the Wealthy Investor Program, this is how it breaks down. You usually start out with one cash account. That cash account is where you're going to do most of your trading, and that trading is going to provide you income, right? When you get a little bit more experience, you'll open up what we call a stock splits account. Now, a stock split account is a stock where you're going to hold equities that have split 2 for 1, 3 for 1, 10 for 1, and you catch them on the split. It's another fast strategy, usually within 2 to 5 years, to grow your wealth, because those stocks that actually have these significant splits usually rise back up within a 5-year period. Not all of them, but 90% of them. So what I always have people do when they get to the level when they are making residual income in their cash account is we have them open a stock split account. And then that account is where you're basically going to wait 2 to 5 years and let your money grow, but you're going to build a position in these stocks as they are rising. What do I mean by build a position? That means every time they rise $10, $20, you're going to buy some more money. You're not using that stock split account for covered call writing. That's a wealth building account. At the end of the 2 to 5 years, you liquidate that, you marry that with your cash position. The more cash you have, the more income you start generating as a trader. It's a system, gang. And it's a system that I created out of watching other people become enormously wealthy. And wealth is not only lifestyle, it's also patterns, right? If you're not as wealthy and financially free as you want to be, you're probably stuck in a working class pattern, illustrated or verbally taught to you by your parents, since most of us have parents who raise us or are primary caregivers. Well, one of my favorite stories is one that came through quite recently with someone in the program, and they always whisper things like I somehow don't know really what's going on. Hey, Tyrone, can I talk to you for a second? Yeah. How's it going? Hey, listen, man, you don't really know how much you've really changed my life. And believe me, I hear it all the time, and I love hearing it. This person takes me aside, and they go, you really have changed my life. My retirement account is over $1 million. I was like, wow, really great. And then they said, my wife's account is also over $1 million. Oh, that's really cool. Hey, we started an IRA for our kid, and we want to get that account over $1 million before they go to college. Oh, man, that's great. And we also started trading for my wife's family, so we help them pull in another $10,000 a month. We do the same trades that we do in class. I was like, okay, I mean, this is starting to compound. And anything else? Yeah, and then we're going to start trading for my parents in the fall. They just have to trade. So that one person started studying the wealthy investor approach, and how many lives did they touch by getting that financial education? How many generations are they changing, all because I met them, they met me, they extended a little trust? Has it ever occurred to you, when it comes to trust, that lack of trust costs you money? Did you know that? When you don't trust something you don't know about, there is a price to pay for that very often. Now, you don't see it. No one gives you a bill for not trusting, but there comes a time in your life where you have to move outside of your comfort zone and trust and do something new. Now, as you know, I spent a great deal of my life here in Hollywood, and the entertainment business is changing because streaming versus network television, well, there isn't as much opportunity for actors, writers, showrunners, and producers. So some of those people are turning to stock market trading and investing as a way of replacing their old income. Now, I'll do an episode on how Steve Jobs caused all of this, but not today. This is all about changing your life. When things in your life change, you must change. It's called adaptation. When you adapt to the circumstances around you, there's less resistance and more abundance. Let me say that again. When you adapt to the circumstances surrounding you, there's less resistance and more financial abundance. Think about that. It's when you don't want to change that when most problems are made harder or compounded. Maybe it's time for you to make a change so you can be part of the new world order. For some people, they open an eBay store. They get creative online. They start a YouTube channel. I love all of those things. But there's nothing like making $5,000 to $10,000 residual income trading in the stock market. It should be you. It should be you. It should be you. Now, nothing would make me happier if 52 weeks from today, I'm able to talk about your story, anonymously, of course, and how you've changed your life for you, your spouse, your kids, and future generations. That's what the Wealthy Investor Program is all about. So be open to something new. There are great possibilities that you haven't investigated yet that can change your reality in the next 90 days. My hope is that you keep a clear mind, look towards the future with positive intent, and you start earning that $5,000 to $10,000 a month. It is easier than you think. I'm Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, saying I'll see you right here on the next episode of Trading Stocks Made Easy.
You've been listening to the Trading Stocks Made Easy podcast. Be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. While you're on iTunes, be sure to click the subscribe button and you'll automatically receive our next episode.